You think you're performing your duties as a quality assurance specialist correctly? There are some mistakes you might be making that is costing your team and company time, money, and resources to fix. Welcome to the Quality Mentor. Today, I'm going to be breaking down most of the common quality assurance mistakes, why they happen, and what to do to prevent them. We need to first of all understand why mistakes in quality assurance matter. It matters because it helps to reduce defects, rework, and avoidable costs. Weak controls invite findings and customer complaints. And also, it helps to protect compliance, quality, and trust. Now, what is the very first mistake is poor documentation. Records are incomplete, inaccurate information in real time, review signatures, dates, and every qualified field, keeping entries legible, and following good documentation corrections. And you can do that in several ways. How can we avoid it? By following good documentation practices, reviewing all documents before they are approved, record information in real time, never from memory, avoid blank fields, correction fluids, and illegible entries, ensure signatures, dates, and badge records are complete. So, to solve the problem of poor documentation, you record, you review before you approve. Number two, not following your standard operating procedures. So you need to follow approved standard operating procedures exactly. Never improvise. So you don't do things haphazardly. You need to train staff whenever procedures change. You need to keep current SOPs accessible at the point of use. So how do you correct the problem of not following SOPs? Never skip or modify approved procedures without authorization. Avoid using unapproved methods or taking unauthorized shortcuts. Train employees regularly on current SOPs. Keep SOPs up to date and accessible to all staff. Perform routine audits to verify SOP compliance. The next, inadequate employee training. Risks, errors, deviation, and safety events. Build onboarding plus refresher trainings. Confirm you need to have the competency before independent work. So how do we then correct all of this? You need to train, you need to practice, and you need to verify. So inadequate employee training is one of the quality mistakes that cost companies a lot of money. The next is ignoring root causes. So you don't just repeatedly fix the visible symptom. You need to investigate with various tools such as the 5 whys and the fishbone. So it can give you enough information and enough data to be able to solve a problem. So you need to verify the action it removes, and it removes the true cause of a problem. So how do you solve this problem? You need to understand, first of all, identify the symptom, perform a root cause, and then you need to verify and to check that the true cause of that problem is not going to surface again in the future. What is the next thing? Is weak CAPA management. So a weak CAPA management is what is also going to cause errors and mistakes. So they need to be actions that are defined. People need to take ownership of processes and ensure deadlines of projects, document objective complement evidences, and then they need to verify the effectiveness before closure. So the first thing, you need an action plan. Number two, you need someone who is going to be there to take ownership of that project, or performing the corrective action and preventive action, and then they need to verify or cross-check the effectiveness of that project. The next here is poor communication. Like we said, every quality assurance specialist needs some kind of soft skills, and some of these soft skills is communication. So you need to escalate every quality issue without delay. Align teams in cross-functional reviews, share metrics, investigations, and in decisions. So poor communication is also what causes quality assurance mistakes. So the first thing, they need to escalate every problem that has been observed, align the problem, and then share with the team. Make sure that they are using the adequate tool and able to tackle that problem. The next on our list here is failure to monitor process performance. A quality assurance specialist, or let's say in this particular one, it is the quality assurance engineer that have the duty and responsibility to track critical KPIs, which is key performance indicators, and trends consistently, review signals early to prevent repeated defects, use statistical process control methods and control charts for database actions. So, how then do you control this or solve this problem of failure to monitor process performance? Number one, you need to track a defect rate and first pass yield, the FPY, regularly. Monitor scrap rate and on-time CAPA closure. Review customer complaints as a key quality signal. Use statistical process control, SPC, and control charts. Establish routine data review meetings and trend analysis. On our list here again, we have poor change control. You need to evaluate the process, equipment and material changes, access risks, and obtain approval first. Validate, communicate, and document the change. Now, in this type of mistake, we're talking about a poor change control. This change, it could be in terms of management, it could be in terms of supplier, it could be in terms of material, it could be equipment change, and you could be there could be a change in following a particular process. So this needs to be communicated correctly, and that is why we need to first of all access, approve, and then we need to validate in order to solve this problem. The next is inadequate internal audits. The quality assurance specialist needs to schedule regular and risk-based audits. Test process effectiveness, not just paperwork done alone. They need to assign, track, and close every finding. So they need to plan to perform an audit, and they need to actually go to the production floor to perform the audit, and then they need to make sure that the finding is finally closed. So inadequate internal audits is also one of the quality assurance mistakes. So the quality assurance specialists, we said they are there to prevent defects before they occur. So one of it is by doing an audit. The next we have is lack of continuous improvement. The quality assurance specialist needs to invite improvement ideas from every side, or every company needs to invite ideas from every side. They need to apply the PDCA cycle. The PDCA simply is plan, do, check, and then act. They need to use methods such as the Lean method. They need to use the Kaizen or the Six Sigma. They need to measure results against a defined baseline. So the idea, the improvement, and then the measurement. And that's it. I have a few interview tips here for you. They can ask you during your interview, what are common quality assurance mistakes? The most prominent ones are documentation, SOP and training gaps, weak root cause analysis, corrective and preventive action monitoring, and change controls, poor communication, audits, and improvements. So your strong answers, you need to connect each of these risks to a practical quality management system control. So the practical quality management system control that you can use here is you can use a real world example, name the tool that you applied, and state the measurable results. Say, for example, you worked in a company that produces bottled water. Your real world problem could be there was unalignment or inadequate alignment of paper labels on bottles, or there was a leakage in some of the bottles. So what was the tool that you use? You could say you use the 5Y or the fishbone analysis to be able to come up with in solving that problem. You can also state a measurable result. Perhaps you said you had maybe a 90% defect rate, and then after you applied your root cause analysis, the leakage rate reduced probably to maybe 1%. So that is how we have a real world scenario where we can showcase our expertise in solving problems. If you found this video useful, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more lessons on quality assurance and quality control. And if you have any questions so far, Please drop it in the comments below, and I'll be very glad to see you or to answer your question. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.